Last night, the fact checkers at the CBS vice presidential debate, who promised, oh, there's going to be no fact checking of anyone, tried to fact check JD Vance, and it did not turn out well for them. Look at this.
For our viewers, Springfield, Ohio does have a large number of Haitian migrants who have legal status. Temporary protected status.
Well, Margaret, but
thank you, Senator. We have so much to get to.
Margaret, I think it's important because
we're going to turn out of the economy. Thank
Margaret,
you.
The rules were that you guys weren't going to fact check, and since you're fact checking me, I think it's important to say what's actually going on. So there's an application called the CBP One app, where you can go on as an illegal migrant, apply for asylum or apply for parole, and be granted legal status at the wave of a Kamala Harris open border wand. That is not a person coming in, applying for a green card and waiting for 10 years. That is the facilitation of illegal immigration, Margaret, by our own leadership.
Thank you, Senator, for describing the legal process. We have so much to get to, Senator.
Those laws have been on the books since 1990.
Thank you, gentlemen.
The CBP One app has not been on the books since 1990. It's something that Kamala Harris created, Margaret.
Gentlemen, the audience can't hear you because your mics are cut.
Now, this just makes CBS look slimy. I already see the comments on X of 3 against 1. It's in the YouTube comments. This is a very bad look for CBS. And JD Vance is right, by the way. I made a video about this a few days ago. It's called, Why Did Trump Kill the Border Bill? Basically, what he's talking about, there's an app that they put onto the smartphones of these illegal migrants. And essentially, it's like a check-in. They check in. And then they have the 30 days to do the hearing based on that legislation from the 90s. And if that's not achieved, they're released with a work permit and given legal status. Now, that is what the moderator's talking about. So when she says that they have legal status, she's not wrong. The problem is the process by which they gained that legal status is through the app that JD Vance was talking about, because these were illegal immigrants who were granted legal status because they haven't had their hearing yet, because there's a backlog of over 1 million in immigration court. That's what this is all about. And that's what JD Vance was talking about. And that's why the way that they fact-checked this was absolute horse shit. It's a lie by omission. And Tim Walz saying that legislation has been there since the 90s is no, it hasn't. There weren't smartphone apps in the 90s, you dumb fuck. That piece of legislation came through under the Biden-Harris administration. It is infuriating. If you've noticed, I've made a concerted effort not to curse in my videos near as much as I used to. But this is so aggravating when they made it a point. We're not going to fact check because that looked really, really bad. They did it. They did it again. And their fact check was a lie. And this looks so bad, not only for CBS, but for Tim Walz and Kamala Harris. I don't see how this doesn't hurt them big time. Now, I want to touch on something else about this VP debate. JD Vance looked really, really good in this debate. I watched the debate with my wife, and she's very apolitical. I've sent her the link to register to vote, but she's not been very interested in it. Last night, she watched JD Vance talk about abortion, and it was during that segment, she pulled her phone out, pulled up that link, and registered to vote. So I think that the way that JD Vance conducted himself and represented the Trump campaign was very, very, very good. She was not an undecided voter, really. She knew which side she was on, but she probably wouldn't have voted. She was an inactive voter. And now she's voting because she watched that debate. So, JD Vance did a great job. He very clearly won that debate. He articulated his points very well. The one thing that I wish he would have done that he did not do was when Tim Walz brought up Project 2025, he should have hammered him on Project 2025. Tim Walz loves to keep talking about that. If you go to his X account, it's everywhere. The Project 2025 stuff is everywhere on Tim Walz's X account. And it's just not a thing. And we all know this. I made a video about it. It's called They Can't Stop Lying About Project 2025. And that's because they can't stop lying about Project 2025. It's not Trump's deal. It's some people at the Heritage Foundation's thing, and it's got nothing to do with the voters for Donald Trump. It's got nothing to do with Donald Trump, and it's got nothing to do with JD Vance. But they keep bringing it up. They cannot help themselves but lie because they don't have any solid policies or truth on their side. There's nothing. The Kamala Harris campaign is a vacuous, empty void. And with everything going on, I wish that they had brought up the Israel-Palestine thing in depth, or Israel-Lebanon thing in depth, because JD Vance could have blamed that whole thing on Kamala Harris and Joe Biden too, which it would have been correct. It is their fault. This wouldn't have happened under Trump. Do you remember the Abraham Accords? I do. So anyway, yeah, JD Vance won that debate. That's about all.